Hey guys, what's up? This was a very hard video for me to do, as the PSP has a lot, and I mean a lot of really hard JRPGs. Jesus. So the 10 that you're about to see today are the hardest that I found, in my opinion, of course. As usual, no games that stayed in Japan, only games that were released outside of Japan. Alright, let's begin! Number 10 is The Oath in Fel Ghana. This series is known for being tough. It's just most of its titles are also known for having easy modes available. Is The Oath in Fel Ghana is no exception to this rule, and you can thankfully play it on easy or even on very easy. It's a remake of Ys 3, also known as Wanderers of the Ys, for the Super Nintendo, Genesis, TurboGrafx and computer systems. It plays vastly different now, as you can clearly see right now. Hard as nails in normal mode, where enemies can overwhelm you if you're not careful. Where even the first monsters of each area will kill you if you are under-leveled. But a little bit of grinding can do wonders in this game, no matter the difficulty you're playing. However, the hardest parts that will utterly drive you mad are the platforming, which is done in 3D on a lot of areas, ultimately frustrating your entire experience sometimes, and the bosses, which can be totally unforgiving, as you need, and let me stress that out, need to memorize their patterns so you can stand a chance. I ended up restarting the whole game on easy mode just so I could barely survive, and even then it was quite challenging. Great game, I love the heck out of it, probably one of the hardest in this list, but it stays on number 10 simply because you can lower the difficulty. Might as well include this one too! Number 9. Gunrunner. All the next games, however, do not let you choose the difficulty. Gunrunner, made by Sting Entertainment, is part of the Department Heaven series, known for being extremely tough. Two of them in particular. They're just really hard to get into, as you need to almost master the several different mechanics within their tactical battle systems. In Gunrunner, for example, it's not only about strategizing your units to see who will attack what. You need to carefully plan almost every single action in the game if you want a very small chance to survive. You'll be fine during the first missions of this game because it does lead you step by step with tutorials, but it's just too damn much to memorize. Sometimes a tactical RPG may be hard, not because we're being lazy or stupid, but because there's just a damn mess everywhere you look and you always have to remember what to do and how to do it. Gunrunner is still an underrated hidden gem, but definitely not an easy entry into the genre. Number 8. Yggdrasil Union Will Never Fight Alone. The second game in particular of the Department Heaven series I was talking about is Yggdrasil Union. This was originally released on the Game Boy Advance and later ported to the PSP as an enhanced version. Other games of its kind were developed, but none of them made it outside Japan. You see, in this game you manage your characters, each one in charge of a small platoon that you need to control during battle by pushing the morale bar back and forth all the time. You gotta be careful though, since a single mistake can drastically work against you. Skills and abilities are held in cards that you need to, once again, carefully select for each one of your characters. Learning all these features and being strategic well in the overall maps is the key to success. Good luck achieving that though, since all these complicated mechanics will eventually drive you insane until you get stuck in the game. Yggdrasil Union is an excellent strategy RPG, highly unique but very hard to get into, especially late in the game. Just like Gunrunner, you'll be fine during the first hours, but the time will come when you'll notice you're getting brutally annihilated over and over again. Might as well include this one as well, also from the Department Heaven series. Number 7, Lord of Arcana. At last, a game that isn't overly complicated, but still hard as steel. It was made that way on purpose to have the player grinding all the time and perfecting its battle mechanics. At first, it looks like a simple hack and slash when your customized character enters these arena encounters. Then you notice a couple of features here and there, like the coup de grace to cause major damage. Nothing complicated or hard to understand. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine with most of the enemies, even if some of them take a while and a certain technical skill to defeat them. The difficulty in this game comes from the bosses. Every single one of them will roast your balls and fry your brains. They really will test your patience, since some of them will take forever to kill. Like this jackass right here, Agony. It's like he has 1,000,000 HP with tons of defense. He also turns into a ball and starts spinning around, completely immune to your attacks. I got stuck with this guy for a while and did some heavy grinding to barely stand a chance against him. Lord of Arcana is a solid action RPG and I honestly recommend it. But never ever forget, it requires a lot of patience. Number 6, Dragoneer's Aria. This is a turn-based RPG that is probably one of the absolute worst I've ever played in my existence. Slow, boring, tedious, repetitive. It's a total grind fest, but in a very bad way. Uninspiring gameplay, a battle system that's nothing special and it's often poorly executed. Uninteresting story and characters. Oh, and it's also obnoxiously hard. I say this because the game turns you off as soon as you start fighting the first enemies anywhere. Some of them take a long ass time to kill and you feel like you just want to get over them as quickly as possible because they suck. You grind your ass in one area, move to the next one and die miserably. I always welcome a challenge if the game's obviously worth it. With a peasant abomination such as this, it's goodbye forever, hard or not. Alas, being that tough could be the reason why there's such a gigantic rejection towards this game. I've always said it, a game that is hard and also really bad can only end up in disaster. So do yourself a favor and stay away from this idiocy. Number 5, Wild Arms Crossfire, also known as Wild Arms XF. This is a spin-off from the Wild Arms series, an attempt at a strategy RPG since they were owning the PSP and its generation. No wonder there were so many of them that were also brutally hard. Wild Arms Crossfire doesn't have overly complicated mechanics, at least not in my opinion. Just a preposterous class system where you need to change classes every time for almost every goddamn mission. What pisses me off in this game is the nerve of having maps with certain requirements to complete, but all done wrong. Stealth missions and also escort missions are often the absolute nightmare. I don't remember much about this game since I played it a long time ago. All I recall is that it left a sour taste in my gaming life. Nonetheless, I can't say it's a bad game at all. By all means, go and play it if you want to. Just try your best at everything you do and approach the missions from many perspectives as possible. Number 4, Growlancer 4, Wayfarer of Time. Oh man, now we're talking! This is one of my favorite RPGs on the system, as I'm a huge fan of this underrated franchise. The thing is that this game goes borderline psycho on a handful of missions, no matter how prepared you are. Meeting the numerous conditions it asks of you on certain battles can exhaust you in seconds. Some fights can even take several attempts from you until by some miracle you manage to survive. There's the infamous flag mission where you need to protect these flags for a period of time, while getting swarmed by enemies from all directions. Others are about preventing one really fast character from escaping, and others are about keeping somebody alive all the time. These demands will often crush your spirit and make you throw your PSP at the wall. Yeah, don't do that. You don't know hell until you've played this gargantuan Jabberwock, because it's also really hard to get into. But trust me, it's totally worth it. I've bitched about this game many times before, but also praised it at every single opportunity. It's almost a masterpiece in my opinion, and one tough bastard that you can't miss if you want a great challenge. Number 3, Zettai Hero Project on Losing Ranger vs Dark Death Evil Man. Yeah, subtitle is obviously a joke, since this entire game is really a fun comedy. Made by the same people who created the Disgaea series, this roguelike RPG looks like it's gonna be a hell of a lot of fun. That is only if you're a damn masochist. No wonder Nippon Ichi Software are the kings of grindfests, because most of the games done in the Disgaea vein cannot be described by any other words. As most roguelike RPGs, this game is astonishingly hard. You always need to be extremely prepared and over-leveled to stand a chance against certain enemies or bosses. Otherwise, you will die and lose absolutely everything you have. Items, weapons, and levels. Well, you go back to level 1 all the time after an area, so yeah. Your status get increased after this happens, but that doesn't help you at all against these many ridiculous challenges. If you're gonna play this game, be absolutely careful with everything you do, keeping your valuable items and weapons safe all the time. Otherwise, you'll die, and I know you will, very often, and lose it all. This means you'll be stuck grinding forever. Good game, hidden gem, but Jesus, Mary, and Satan, it's an enormous pain in the butt! Number 2, Valhalla Knights. I'm so glad most of the games I've talked about so far in this video are actually good. That means they're totally worth the challenge. Valhalla Knights, however, is one of the most mediocre action RPGs ever made with the clunkiest controls of all time. Playing this game feels as if you were testing a beta version of some really amateur developer out there. Camera sucks, as does the leveling system, cause it will take you hours to gain at least one freaking level. Oh, and the money system is even worse, especially since recruiting allies cost a lot of cash each time you want a new guy into your party. It's a quest-driven RPG, so you'll be bored to death with these lame-ass dungeons for the most part. Pathetic. Go in alone or with one ally and it'll barely make any difference. Sometimes you'll survive, maybe if your party members decide to help you, yeah. Sometimes you will die. Then it's back to town to revive anybody who died, and yes, it costs money you were saving for another party member or a better weapon. Screw this game, man. It's an extremely miserable experience and it's not worth your time one bit. Skip it if you can, or play it if you want to end up in a mental institution. Number 1. Idea Factory RPGs. Yeah, all of them. Well, maybe not Pandora's Reflection, which I didn't find that hard, but still! This company, before subsidiary Compile Heart was even known, owned the PSP with its many strategy RPGs, all from the Spectral series and the Generation of Chaos franchise, none of them released before in outside Japan, unfortunately. Game after game they threw at us unbeknownst of their heavy learning curves and difficulty spikes. That's not to say I'm not a huge fan of some of them, cause I am. Spectral Souls, for example, is also one of my favorite PSP RPGs of all time, but it's also an excruciating grind fest. You take the role of 3 different armies, switching to each one of them from time to time, since the game forces you to do it. So imagine how many characters you'll need to take care of. Easiest entry is probably Blazing Souls Axolate, but that doesn't mean it'll be a walk in the park. It's also heavily grindy, and there are some annoying features like the jumping mechanic that you'll need to master. The Generation of Chaos games are probably the hardest to get into, totally making them RPGs that are just not for everybody. They are complicated at best as they involve micromanagement of units, skills, and properties. Yeah, that's right. None of them are bad, however, and they all have great stories involving demons, politics, and warfare. If you manage to get through these unique titles, you'll find yourself enjoying them more than what you probably thought at the beginning. Nevertheless, they are among the hardest RPGs that I have ever played, and therefore stay at number 1 in this list, mainly because I just couldn't decide which one will be the king of punishment. You think I missed a game? You think I forgot a game? Well, hold your horses, because as the PSP has a lot of JRPGs that are brutally tough, there's gonna be a part 2. Yeah! Alright, all we can do from now on is look forward to it. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!